Hey family, this is Jake here from John J Ministries. A long time in biblical times, it is said that the temple guards, who were really the Levites, would stand watch and guard the temple at night. And it's said that the chief priest, who was the high priest, he would come out with his torch in the middle of the night and late at night with his torch, and he would go around to inspect to see whether or not the guards were standing on watch and whether they were up and watching and guarding the gates and guarding the temple doors. And whenever he would see a priest standing in his place and at his station and guarding and standing watch and awake, he would give them a nod as if to say, well done, good and faithful servant. But those priests that he would find sleeping, he would take his torch and he would singe their garment, and then he would go along and leave them. And when that priest would have awakened in the night or even in the morning, he would realize that there is a stench coming from his garment, that his garment would have been soiled and have a smoky or burnt stench, and realize that he was caught asleep, because like they were saying that there was this idiomatic expression in those days that the thief came in the night and caught them unawares, and that thief was really the high priest, who would normally come to check on them to see whether or not they were doing what they were supposed to do or whether they were standing guard. And it is that idiomatic expression that became pervasive throughout biblical history and times with the apostles, and even Jesus mentioned it, that even that the day of the Lord shall come as a thief in the night, and that we ought to be ready. And the thing about it is, my friends, that right now that we ourselves are priests of the Lord, and that the temples that we ought to be guarding is our souls, our bodies, which the Spirit of God dwells in, and we ought to be standing guard of our gates, the eye gate and the ear gates, our mouth, our senses, because the truth is, just like Jesus said, it is not necessarily what we eat that defiles a man, but what comes out. But what defiles us oftentimes are the things that we allow to go into our ear gates and through our senses, the things that we see. And these things oftentimes, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, and these things can defile us and cause us not to be ready when the thief comes in the night. And also to really bring it a little closer, Jesus says that no man knows the day or the hour, for that day shall come upon us like a thief in the night. And in other words, what he's saying, that we ought to be ready for the coming of the Lord. And if we are going to be ready for his coming, then there's some things that we need to make sure that we are watchful of, we are mindful of, and we are guarding, that we are guarding our walk, we are guarding our faith, we are guarding the things that we say, the things that we do, the things that we receive in our spirit, and how we are walking in the presence of the Lord. Because at the end of the day, the Bible says that we as Christians already know that the signs of the times, but it's really the unbelievers who might be caught unawares. But we too ought to be mindful that if we walk in darkness, even though we have seen a great light, that we too can be caught unawares, and that thief that will come in the night and catch us not being ready, catch us asleep, and find ourselves missing out on the greatest experience that life has to offer, the time when the master comes to take us with him, and the time where we ought to hear him say, well done, good and faithful servant. So I want to tell you, my friends, the thief is coming, that day of the Lord that shall come as a thief in the night, to catch people who are not ready, unawares. But don't let that be you, for the thief is coming. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you will not be ready or that you will be caught off guard. So be ready, stand firm, and watch and be ready, for the thief, the day of the Lord, is coming. So see you next time. See you next week. This is Jakes from John J Ministries. God bless you.